Hi, this is Todd Malicoat, the SEO faculty for Market Motive and online marketing consultant at stuntdouble.com. We're going to look at reputation management and how to own yourself online. It's really important that you do your self-branding so that you can get the job you're looking for. In previous sections, we've looked at the opportunities and salaries, the career paths and disciplines associated with an online marketing career, and understanding the title hierarchy so you can start at the right position and move yourself up the ladder. Now we're going to look at how to get the job, some resources, and ongoing training so that you continue to manage your career well. So firstly, you need to quit being paranoid. You're going to be out there unless you think you're Brill from Enemy of the State and you live in a jar, you are going to have an online persona. The first time I Googled my own name, I saw my name, address, and home phone number on my resume and realized privacy is a myth. So you might as well be proactive in managing your online reputation. So we'll look at some tips on how to do that. Firstly, you're going to need a resume. You still need your regular resume. You can go to some of these resources listed here and do a visual resume, resume.com, all these places, and then get a little help and feedback. Resume, you can get anonymous feedback on your resume and learn how to improve it. But what ultimately employers are looking for is these few things: creating value and earning money for the company that you worked for. If you haven't done this, then find some ways to demonstrate this or demonstrate your value or your leadership skills. Most of the time, after a certain point in your career, they're really not going to care about your education. They're going to care about your work experience and how much money you made for your employers and what you did to make them successful. So your new resume, after you have your old resume created, is going to be what they find when they Google you. You should absolutely own yourname.com or a variation thereof. We'll look at variations in case you have a common name in just a moment. So what does Arsenio Hall know about reputation management online, and what does it mean to own yourself online? Well, it means owning your branded search. And if you do search for Arsenio, you will see that Arsenio does in fact own his branded search. You need to do the same thing. Why is it so important? Well, if you're going on a date, if you're looking to get a job, if you're representing a company, all of these things are going to be important, and you need to emancipate your reputation. There's some great posts here on how to conduct your reputation management, how to improve your personal branding or self-branding. Google these things, take a look at it, take a look at some of the guides on online reputation management, and build your new resume. Do a Google search for yourself and find out what comes up. Firstly, you should definitely own your .com or a variation thereof. Now, it's easy to do if your name's DeBrickshaw Ferguson to get your .com. If you have a more common name, you're going to have to get a little bit more creative. .net, .org, maybe your name plus blog plus site plus your location. Get creative, but make sure you own some variation of your .com and build a resume on that site. It's really, really easy to do. You can get free hosting, or you can get hosting for 10 or 20 bucks a month at a variety of different sites. You go to a domain registrar and register your domain name and manage it there. You can get WordPress.com or a WordPress theme, get somebody to help you out with this, and look up a few tutorials. It's not very hard to create a website these days, so make sure that you're doing it and that you're doing it effectively. Create some pictures, put your resume up, create a little bit of content, talk about your hobbies, put links to social media, maybe even run some PPC. Get a little bit creative in how you hunt for your job. We'll look at some ideas for that later. There's a great article on Mashable about how someone bid on PPC for the recruiters' names who he thought that he might want to work for their companies, and when they did a search for their names, his ad came up and said, "Why don't you hire me? Because I'm really good at this stuff." And it worked very effectively for him. He was able to get a copywriting job at a company that he really liked. This type of creativeness is going to go a long way in the marketing industry because that's what an employer is looking for. Make sure you register your domain name, your name. It's like your birth certificate these days. One place you can start is with a site called about.me. Stacy actually sent me this originally, and you can set up all your social media profiles in a website very, very easily. I actually created this one in about 10 minutes. I had a background, put an image up, put a few of my social media profiles up, and it was very, very easy to create, and it actually ranks pretty well for my name as well. Some other sites that you're going to want to do this with: names with a z.com, Squidoo, Facebook. Obviously, you can set your Facebook settings so that if you have friends or you have drunken photos, if you have other things like that, you don't want the world to see this necessarily. So Facebook is kind of personal, more so where LinkedIn is professional. You don't have to let your employers see your Facebook profile, but don't have a ridiculous picture up for your main Facebook page, because that will show up publicly unless you set it otherwise. So make sure to take heed to your privacy settings here. And if you have a MySpace page, you should probably delete that altogether, or at least make sure that there's nothing ridiculous in there when you do it. If you want to get really carried away, there's a site called Noam. You can register at 525 different social networks, and you can really optimize your name and drop your links just about everywhere on the web. Twitter is another good place. If you're going to be tweeting about personal things that you wouldn't want your potential employer to see, then you need to make those private. You need to make sure that only friends can see those. And if you do want your employer to see it, then make sure that you're tweeting about things that are professional and not about your cat and your how much you hate your job and that sort of thing. So you want professional settings if you're going to optimize your name for your search results, if you're going to own those self-branded search results. LinkedIn, absolute must these days. This is where recruiters look. They look at your resume and they immediately go to LinkedIn and search and find out more about you, your career, your path, your history, all these types of things. Make sure to have a couple recommendations. Have someone that you know that you've done a good job for say something great about you. Talk about what a great job you did. This is really, really important. After you've set up all these profiles, you can go to a site called My Career Web, and you can get some information on how well you're doing and some other ideas for optimizing your self-brand search results. This is what a recruiter is going to look for, and you really need to be on top of these things. Some other ways to own your name in search. We mentioned registering your domain. Have a friend interview you. Write some articles. Writing articles is one of the best ways to do this. Even outside the realm of online marketing, tell your friends who are in engineering to go post their research paper, their thesis paper on somebody else's website. Everybody is always looking for content. Bloggers are always looking for something they can post on their blog, and article and magazine sites are always looking for content. You can be published on the web, and it's very easy to do, and it makes it look like you have more experience than you do. If you were publishing articles when you were a sophomore in college, that means you have 2 years of experience in self-publishing or publishing on the web before you ever make it out into the job arena. So own your domain name, SEO for your name, do some optimization, maybe even create a video or podcast. It's very easy to do these days. I'm sitting here recording this on a small headset and a laptop. That's all you need to do a video or a podcast these days. Optimize your pictures for image result search, participate in forums with your real name, create a press release, maybe speak at a local event at your library or local chamber of commerce. All these things are going to help with your online persona and your self-branding for when you go to do that job hunt. Some more creative ideas. We talked about targeting via PPC ads. Maybe target potential employer names, the headhunters who are looking for potential candidates. You can selectively target on Facebook. This is my new favorite one. You can target by company name in the email address. So you could target anyone at, say, the company that you wanted to work for. If you were looking to get a job at Google, you could target Google employees. Anybody with a google.com email address, or even Market Motive. If you want to get a job at Market Motive, target everybody at Market Motive with a little ad. It's probably not going to cost you more than a couple bucks because it's impression based, it's click based. You don't get charged for impressions. The guy who did it for PPC ads and Google only paid about $10 for an ad or for ad campaign and set it up, and it ran, and he got lots of great feedback and ended up with a great job. With just a little bit of creativity, it goes a long ways. And another thing important to know is search for people, not the jobs. The standard thought process in applying for jobs is to create your resume and go submit it to monster.com and a bunch of different sites. Very, very few people get hired that way. They get hired with networking and with people talking to other people and a good reputation online. So this is what we need to do in order to be effective in your job hunt. So search for the people who are doing the hiring and not necessarily the jobs. 10% of your time should be created on your resume and hunting for jobs, and 90% of your time should be spent on your online persona, your self-branding, creating a good positive reputation for yourself on the web. When the headhunters do actually do a search for you, when they pick up your resume and they're interested in you, you need to make sure that they become more and more interested in you. And this is done through your self-reputation management. So some job boards, you will want to submit to some of these, but again, this is just to get your foot in the door. This is not going to get you hired. These are a bunch of good job boards that you can check out, that you can submit resumes to. Whole list of these are all over the place, but everybody uses these. You want to stand out above the crowd by above the heap and above the crowd by managing your reputation. So some job boards specific to online marketing, there's a whole bunch of them. There's always jobs posted here. This is where you're going to look for those online marketing specific jobs. You may want to find a headhunter. Headhunters are generally looking for highly qualified people that they can place easily in jobs that they already have existing. But check this out, understand the mentality of a headhunter, and then you can go and maybe do some meetup and some networking. Go to meetup.com and look for areas in your expertise where you might find companies that would be willing to hire you. Most jobs are gotten through networking. You can even throw your own meetup. It's pretty easy to do. Throw a meetup about online marketing, new people to online marketing, getting a career or starting your career in online marketing. Don't be afraid to do these things. It's really easy to do these days, and this is the type of creative thinking that's going to get you the job that you need. So the top sites that you should absolutely, without question, sign up for right now. Go and do it right now. About Me, we mentioned. My Web Career will tell you how you're doing. Get a Google profile. Get a LinkedIn profile. About Me. About Me, About Me, About Me. Names and Twitter. And there's a handful of other ones that are very good sites that you should absolutely go check out because they're wonderful, wonderful resources. If you have some bad, unflattering information out there, there's a few places that may help you with that. You might want to just do some outreach. Generally this doesn't happen. Hopefully you haven't done anything negative, but just in case, here's a couple resources. And then finally, for ongoing training, Sempo, AdWords, Google Analytics, DMA, Webmaster World is where I learned almost everything I know as a free forum about webmastering. Really great site. SEO Moz, SEO Book, Search Engine Land. All these places are going to keep you up to date and in the know on the search marketing and online marketing information that you need to know if you want to be a part of this industry and if you want a career in online marketing. So we looked at the opportunities, the career paths, the disciplines, understanding the title hierarchy, understanding how to get the job and do proactive reputation management and self-branding. We looked at some resources and where to go for ongoing training. So with this, you should be able to get a wonderful job and start a wonderful career in online marketing.